Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights, and today what I'm going to talk about is the new moon in Scorpio happening on November 7th at 11:02 a.m. Eastern Time or 8:02 a.m. Pacific Time. So I'm going to go into detail on that, what this new moon is all about. I really do think from really the full moon in Taurus to the end of the year, it's big, life-changing stuff happening very fast that we've been waiting for quite some time. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Before I get into that though, I do want to let you all know that I am now open for readings, back doing readings. I have a 30-minute option and an hour option available. The 30-minute option is great for quick answers, quick hits, to get straight to the point without messing around about some of the things in your life that you are interested in. The hour option is better if you want to spend a little bit more time considering your options, going over some of the things that are in your life, and maybe exploring a little bit more of your natal chart as well. So if you're interested in that, please sign up at the link down below. Also, if you are interested, I do have a personal astrologer service open that I'm working on. If you want me as your personal astrologer, we can meet way more frequently. We can meet 3 times a week. That's what I'm planning on right now, to talk about your chart, talk about some major themes going on in your chart, teach you how to read your own chart as well, whatever it is that you're looking for. We can also go over as well in those meetings your solar return, your lunar return. Of course, your lunar return happens every month as well, the transits for the week too. So if that's something you're interested in meeting with me regularly, please let me know. There's more information at the link down below. Or if you want to meet with me regularly but want to set up some different kind of arrangement as well, please come talk to me and we'll work something out. I was going through a real hard time in my life a few years ago, and it would have been so useful for me, I feel like, to have someone that I could speak to that was more intuitively and artistically aware, that knew kind of what was going on with the planets instead of in a more clinical sense. Just because I feel like that would have been really useful to me to have. So I wanted to give you all of that as well, to help you discover more about your own self, more about your own chart, and hopefully have me help guide you through that in a non-pressure, an environment that has a lot less pressure than, say, going to a therapist or a psychologist. Not like there's anything wrong with that, but I thought I would offer that to other people who could use it. So if you're interested, again, a link down below in my description box. Now, without further delay, we'll get into this new moon. It's a big one that's going on that I know I have been waiting for for a lot of this year. Now, where this new moon is going to be is right here in the sign of Scorpio. If you can see the moon and the sun here, 15 degrees and 11 arc minutes, okay? What do new moons bring? New moons bring beginnings. They start things. They also plant seeds, which need time in order to sprout. And the new beginning that we have here in Scorpio can be a new beginning, especially in Scorpio, our relationships, how we partner deeply and intimately with people. And this isn't the superficial kind of relationships that Libra has. Not that Libra is superficial, but these are like real intense kind of relationships, like real deep partnerships with people that you're very, very, very close to, okay? And so I think that's what we're really trying to begin here, is to either have new relationships with new people, or to have the relationships that are currently in our life that have lasted through this crazy Uranus full moon, and to try to take these relationships with the people that made the first round of cuts here, and to go deeper, to get more intimate with the people in our life so that they understand deeply what we feel, what we want, and what we desire, okay? I think that's a big thing going on at this moon. If it doesn't have to do per se for you particularly with relationships, other people, it can have a lot to do with finances, a new beginning, and how you spend or make money as well in Scorpio. And it could also have to do with what you really truly deeply desire and want and really beginning to go all in, to understand and to do more of the things that it is that you feel are really, really important to you deep down, okay? I think that's what's going on, especially with Jupiter here being at the 29th degree of Scorpio after it spent the last year through the whole degree, through the whole sign of Scorpio. I think now it's saying, do you really know what you want? Do you really know what you want in life? Do you really, are you still afraid to get in relationships with people and to get messy with people and to have the other people understand who you are and what you feel and what's important to you? And the new moon in Scorpio, it's saying it's time to get over those fears. It's time to get over those insecurities about creating a life that you want, about talking to other people, about making money or spending money or changing your life in any way. And it's time to just go all in to do it. Okay? I think that's a big thing. I think especially too with Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio for the past year, we've had lots of changes come up in our life. Lots of endings and beginnings in a variety of different ways here. And I think as well, this new moon in Scorpio saying, look, you've been changing your life for a really long time. You've been trying to readjust and tweak things here and tweak things there so that you could feel better. And it really is time. Like, it's time for you to step into some change you've been working on, or to finish making all the last changes that it is that you need to put your life in a better spot. You know, if you've been trying to get deeper in your relationships with people and you're almost there, it's time to like get there. You know, I just had the image of like the nines in tarot, of like the nine of wands or something. It's like, come on, we've been trying all of this year to change our life, to do what we want, to work with relationships, to feel like we want to feel, to be the person we've always wanted to be. Things have been up this year, things have been down, endings and beginnings. And this new moon, is saying, okay, you've been working so damn hard for so long to create a life and to create relationships that really work for you. Now is the time to do it and to not give up and to go for it and to step into some of these changes now that you have a better understanding of what you really want and need, all right? I think that's what I'm going to go with right here, okay? And I think that's what's happening. Now, this moon, before I talk about the aspects, is the opposite side of the full moon in Taurus that I talked about in another video a few weeks ago. Now, the full moon in Taurus was right here at the very beginning degrees of Taurus. Not exactly opposite the new moon, but definitely in an opposite sign, okay? And what I said at the full moon in Taurus, I said you have to focus on your own needs, getting your own needs met 2 weeks ago at this full moon. Okay, you have to focus on restoring the balance back to your life and putting it back in your favor. All right. And I think this new moon is saying now that you hopefully have asserted your own needs, taken care of your own self, regardless of what everyone else wanted from you, now that you have done that, you can now start to make changes once again. You can now start to work with your relationships once again. Do you get this? That the balance that's kind of coming in here? The full moon in Taurus to me was saying, look, you've been making changes all damn year, and it's been really hard. And there's been a lot of things going on with relationships this whole year that other people have wanted from you, that you've been trying to negotiate and work out, that have been difficult. The full moon in Taurus says you got to catch a breather from all of this change and from all this stuff with relationships. You have to bring more of the stability and the security back in your life. You have to pay attention to some of your own needs so that you can catch your breath from all this intense stuff that's been going on this year. And now that we caught our breath at the full moon in Taurus, the new moon in Scorpio saying, okay, are you good? Are you good? Did you get this taken care of? What you needed to get taken care of? Because now it's time to continue some of the changes you've been making from earlier in the year. Now it's time to continue working with relationships now that hopefully you are feeling much better and coming from a much, much better, more secure, more stable place than you were before. Because if we went going ahead, charging through, making some huge changes without the full moon in Taurus, without taking a break to make sure we're okay, then it would have been hard. It would have been difficult. It would have been very chaotic. Maybe our emotions would have been super high, would have reached super peaks. It would have been very hard for us to emotionally handle, especially with the North Node at this new moon just moved back into Cancer. You know, it's like we're about to get hit with a lot of emotions at this new moon, a lot of feelings. And Uranus and Taurus said, at the full moon in Taurus said, look, you're about to get hit with a lot of feelings. There's a lot of changes in your life that are going to happen between now and January, maybe even between now and next December, a whole year from now. And you have to make sure that you are okay at this full moon in Taurus, because a lot of changes, a lot of transformation, a lot of emotional stuff, especially with this new moon in Cancer, is about to hit us, and you need to make sure that you're okay. All right. And now that we're okay at the full moon in Taurus, we got what we needed to make sure that we can stand up as an individual, secure in our own right. Now it's time to resume the journey that we were going on in January, in February, in March, that got cut short, that had issues, that had problems, that was stopped. okay? It's now time to resume the journey that we were always meant to go on at the beginning of this year, but that we needed to fix, we needed to rearrange, we needed to change, we needed to make different, all right? I'm hoping that makes sense. Some of you who've been watching my videos have probably heard me tell this story, but this is the way that I see a lot of this year. Saturn moved into Capricorn last December. I think a lot of us felt in December and January, this is great. I'm doing something new. I'm moving on some new journey, and now I can finally build on something new that I've been doing, or I can build on my passions, build on something that I really, really enjoy. And then I think we got to February and March of this year as we think we're going in one direction in our life, and then all of a sudden Saturn goes retrograde, a bunch of other planets go retrograde, and we realize, wait a second, I thought my life was going in this direction and I was going to be able to build on it, but there's something I'm missing. I cannot build on this thing I was planning on building on in the same way I originally intended to build on it. Either I need different people, or I need to work with the same people in different ways, or there's something I'm missing from the past with Mars in the South Node through all this summer that we needed to go back to get, to change, to rearrange, so that we could make sure whatever journey we are embarking on with Saturn and Capricorn was the right journey, was what we really wanted, was what was really meant for us, to put our life in a better place, even if that place with Pluto also in Capricorn is very different from what it used to be in our life. And I feel like that's kind of with Jupiter and Scorpio all year has been like, do I really want this journey that I'm building? Do I really want this Saturn and Capricorn thing that I started to work towards at the beginning of this year? Why or why not? And what am I missing? And now with this new moon in Scorpio, where Jupiter's been, it's saying, okay, I hope you figured out what you're missing. I hope you figured out what you need, because it's time for you to finally start to do the things that it is that you want and need, and resume the journey you were going to go on at the beginning of this year, but that you didn't feel right about, or that snafus came up with, so that you can move on, okay? So that's where we are. And I think this moon is a major, major turning point, because after we have this new moon in Scorpio, Jupiter's then going to move into Sagittarius, its home sign, where it loves to be, where it has not been in 12 years. Okay, it's going to move in there. Then I think we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio, in Sagittarius eventually on Jupiter as well, helping us to say, okay, it's time for you to embark on some new journey. So the new moon in Sagittarius is going to be all about, okay, new. You've been trying to do something new since Saturn was in Sagittarius 2.5, 3 years ago. It's been difficult for you to finally break free from old situations so that you can move forward, getting more excited, more passionate about life. And this new moon is Scorpio saying, is this what you really want? If it is what you want, you got to commit to it. You got to go forward on it, and you have to complete the change. You have to complete the drill. Don't give up now. You must persevere in order for you to create the life that you want, and get on some new and different journey that's different than what you have done. Okay, so that's what I see here. I'm hoping this is making sense. Now, I want to give you this message and tell you, look, go, go, go. Change, change, change. Create the life you really want. Complete, complete, complete. All the things you've been trying to do. But I do feel like I have to mention there are some unusual things happening at this new moon. We still have Venus in retrograde, and we also have Mercury in shadow in its sign of detriment, also about to go retrograde. So there's a part of me that wants to be like, full speed ahead. Work on, full speed ahead, creating the life that you want. But you have to realize, especially with the new moon being where Jupiter's been, especially with these two planets in retrograde or about to go retrograde, and also with this new moon making a trine over to Neptune in Pisces, the sign of the past, there are still some things from the past that we have to overcome, that we have to make sense of, that we have to get right with before we can move in the direction that it is that we want. Okay, and not get discouraged if you still feel like, okay, I know what I want, I have a better sense of what I want, I'm going there, but what about this old thing? But what about what I started in February? But what about, I still think we could still be dealing with some of that stuff from the past, okay? And I think the trine to Neptune here and the two planets going retrograde is saying, look, you know what? It's fine. You got things from the past. You got things from the past. But there's a better way to do the past. There's a better path forward. There is a better perspective. And I think these planets going retrograde are finally the things that are saying, you got to get over it and you got to move on. I know I've been saying in a lot of my other videos, really since Mars was on the South Node and during the summer, that it's time to overcome the past. It's time to move forward. It's time to get over old things. And I really do believe, I mean, you can never really get over the past. Like, the past is always going to stick with us, I feel like, because our life builds on the past. It's not like we forget about what happened. As much as I would like one of those pens from the Men in Black to like erase parts of my life. Like, we never really can get rid of the past. And Neptune's going to be hanging out in Pisces for quite some time. So, you know, there are going to be times in my horoscopes from here on out where I'm still going to mention things from the past coming up. But with Chiron here at the last degree of Pisces before it leaves, I think in next March and April, and with these planets going retrograde right at around this new moon before Jupiter enters Sagittarius, I think it really is saying, look, the past is always going to be here. You can't forget the past, but you can not let the past hurt you. You cannot let the past drag you down. You know, you can understand the past. You can do things differently from the past. You can have better relationships than you used to have. You can update your belief systems to be something that is better for you from here on out, so that old cycles won't repeat, so that old cycles won't bring you down, so that things from the past can inspire you instead of hurt you. And I think at this new moon, even though we're getting a big boost forward to create the life that we want, to finish making a bunch of changes this year that may have been really frustrating, so that we can get on some new journey that it is that we really want, even if we have to tear down old structures in order to move forward on this new journey. And I think these two planets going retrograde, Mercury and Venus, are saying, okay, it's time for you to not kill the past, but to make your peace with the past so that you can move on. Okay, and to get right with your relationships with Venus here in Libra, and again, to update your belief systems to accommodate some new adventure that you are about to embark on, and to be okay with it. Okay, could be a little bit confusing with Mercury and Sagittarius about where is my life and what does this mean and what's happening. But again, I think needing to focus with all of this stuff in Scorpio on what you truly desire and on what you want to create with the other people in your life, and with who the people in your life are, and whether or not you want them in your life. And I think once you figure out what you want and who you want with you, then, and not before, then it's going to make it easier for you to figure out, okay, now what new thing am I doing? Now what really excites me, and how can I move forward? All right. I hope you're figuring that out. I want to tell you to make choices. You know, that's another thing that I've been talking about at the Taurus full moon. I said a lot of like, you got to make choices, you got to make choices, you got to make choices, especially with the opposition happening between Venus and Uranus, which are about to happen after this new moon, although not quite at the new moon, because Venus is going to have to station direct, and then it's going to have to go back to where it was. And I think choices are super important, but what I think you need to realize is that a lot of times when we go on our journey, when we start to make big changes in our life, which is going to occur in the next year and a half, it's not just one choice. It's not just all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I make this one choice and now everything's going to be better. It's a series of choices that we have to make over and over again in different ways about a bunch of little things. And I think the full moon in Taurus was all about making a choice about what you needed so that you could feel more stable and secure. But there were still other choices you had to make before you get on your journey. All right. And I think when Venus comes into an opposition with Uranus for the last time, I think it's going to be at the end of November. That's going to be like the final choice in a series of choices, helping you to determine and to get on board with what you want, who's in your life, and where you see everything going, so that you can start to build a life that's really, really important to you, even again if you have to change some big old structures in your life and create new ones to support a new foundation in your life. Okay. And I think for the past month or so, it's going to be all about, what do I want? Am I making the right choices? Am I not? Make a choice here, tweak some things. Make a choice here, tweak some things. Make a choice here. Weigh out your options here, especially with Venus and Libra. Maybe going back on some choices with all these planets being retrograde. And I do think that by the time Venus comes back at the end of this month, and now I'm getting away from the new moon, but I think by the time Venus comes back later this month, it's going to say, okay, now that you've spent the past few, however many months or however many weeks trying to make choices and decisions, and knowing you have to make choices, knowing that there's something big coming in each of our lives that we have to decide about, now that you've been going back and forth, once Venus comes back to Uranus direct, once Mercury also goes direct, which will be, when will that be? I feel like I should give you a date. It's going to be right here, actually around December 7th. That's when the decisions that we have been knowing that we need to make right now are going to be final. And until then, we're going to keep making choices to try to bring the balance back in our life, to try to make sure we're getting on the right journey. And we need to make choices, and we need to figure out what we really want at this new moon in Scorpio, so that by the time December 7th gets around, we can say, okay, I choose my choice. I made my choice. And I made a series of small choices that led to this really one big choice, which was what I really wanted and what I really needed and what I felt really deeply. And I have the people in my life who support this choice, who are with me, who are going to help me do the things that it is that I want and need, again, even if I have to tear down some old things and old ways of doing things over time. But at least I know what I want, at least I know who's in my life, and at least now I know what I need to build and how I need to build it moving forward, even if, again, other things have to come down, all right? I hope the picture is being made more clear for you all. All right. Now that could be hard with so much change happening, because Jupiter at 29 degrees here is going to make a quincunx to Uranus and Aries. So we want to make big change in our life that's coming in, but it could be hard for us to figure out exactly how to do the things that we want at this new moon in Scorpio, just because we have so many feelings, just because we have so many deep things that are going on. And I think, again, I really do think, again, needing to be patient, I would really wait till after December 7th at the new moon in Scorpio, the new moon in Sagittarius happening on December 7th, before we start to finally feel like, I know what I want, I'm moving forward, and I'm doing it. And I think this new moon in Scorpio, we're finally figuring out what we want. We're finally making the changes that we need. We don't know quite sure how to do the things we want. There's still a few more choices that we have to make before we've made our final choice about where our life is going, but we're really, really, really damn close. Like, we're so close. The nines, I'm getting like the nines in the tarot, like 9 of Wands. You know, you're almost there. You're almost there. It's like, don't give up. And you're almost there to finally beginning to build something that really resonates with you emotionally, and tending to your own emotional needs after a really crazy, hectic past few years. All right. And it's just, you just got to keep going, just so that you can focus on what it is that you really need. Okay. So maybe that's what I will leave you with. I know that was a lot, because what else didn't I mention? Yeah, I guess we do have what, Jupiter about to trine the North Node, Jupiter about to square Mars. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of excitement here to change our life, to see a future, a lot of internal transformation that's coming. I'm telling you, we may not feel until the new moon in Sagittarius, which is only a month away, like we're finally freeing ourselves up to realize what this next chapter of our life is about. But this new moon is pivotal for you figuring out what you really want and aligning everything and completing some big change from the past so that you can move forward. Like, this new moon to me is the transition point between the last year and between the year we are about to have. It's setting everything up to the way that it needs to be and is meant to be in the future. And I think right now it's like when the tides turn, when we go from like waffling and unsure about what we really want and things being hard and difficult, for us saying, you know what, look, it can't be like this anymore. I know what I want. I know what I need to build. I know this change that I need to go on, and we start to go on it. And it's all gonna come. I like this new moon in Sagittarius. Okay. Maybe one other thing that it is that I'll mention as well, because I'm like, relationships are going to be important too. Venus in a trine with Mars, working with other people, seeing a different future with the relationships in our life. It's going to be big. And it's going to be stuff that we've been trying to do all year that I think now we're finally going to start to realize and start to make our final choices, our final decisions on who made the cut in our life and who didn't make the cut, on what we want in our life and what we didn't, and we're going there. These are fixed signs. I mean, this is a new moon and a fixed sign. Again, I know I said in my full moon in Taurus video, it's no longer sitting on the fence. The new moon in Scorpio is saying, look, you got to make your final decisions here. What life do you want? What kind of life do you want to create all of next year? And to choose something that really, really deeply resonates with you. One thing, this is my final point I think I wanted to mention, because I was looking up the Sabian symbols and the inside degrees like I always do for these new moons. 15 degrees Scorpio, I looked up, I thought was super interesting. What do I have in my notes? It said 15 degrees Scorpio gives you the power to do and to create what you dream, to create anything that it is that you want. That to me is a fixed sign. A fixed sign says, I really want this thing and I'm gonna do it if it's the last thing I do and I'm never gonna give up. You know, I'm a mutable sign, so if something doesn't work for me, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try something else. Fixed signs don't do that. And that's what I really loved about the symbols for this sign, for this new moon. It says, if you really want a life, if you really want something, and we've had a lot of time to reflect this whole year on what we want and don't want, even longer than this, connecting back to when Saturn again was in Scorpio, you know, 5-6 years ago. Uranus moved into Aries 8 years ago. It's saying, if you really want something, if you really want something that for the past 8, 5, however many years you've been trying to make manifest, that's been hard, that hasn't been working, that you've been confused about, now is the time to say, you know what, I'm doing it, I'm going all in, I don't care what anyone says, this is what I really want and this is what I desire, and I'm making it happen. The caution that I did get from one of the websites about the Sabian symbols, though, was that you have to be very, very careful when it comes to this new moon, this degree of Scorpio, what you wish for, what you dream about. Because online it said, if you want the wrong things, or if your perspective is set in the wrong way, that you can manifest that too. Because this Scorpio degree, and because these fixed signs are so powerful, then they can manifest whatever it is that you want. If you manifest the good things, you can, if you want the good things, you can manifest it. And if you want or are telling yourself bad things, you can manifest that as well. So that's the only thing I can caution you, is to make sure here that your mindset is pure, it's in the right place, it is what you really need, so that the things that you're creating in your life here are things that you're going to be okay with and are going to be very, very good for you. Because you can manifest the bad, or you can manifest the good here, and needing to choose the good, choose the right things, believe in yourself. And there's no reason to not believe in yourself, because I am liking the astrology. Everything's very optimistic. Jupiter going into its home sign very, very soon. Very, very soon after this moon, Jupiter's at home. This is positive. Jupiter loves Sagittarius. On top of that, the North Node in the sign of Cancer, the sign of being home, Saturn at home in Capricorn, at home, in a sign it likes to be in, Neptune in Pisces, at home, in a sign it likes to be at home in. Venus, I know it's going to be out of there soon, in Libra, also a sign it likes to be at home in. You know, come on. There's an opportunity here for you to feel more comfortable in your life, for you to come home, for you to feel better, for you to create the things you want, especially with the nodes coming into cardinal signs, to get over old patterns, to start new patterns. But you have to make sure at this new moon that you understand truly and deeply what it is that you want, that you connect truly and deeply and build super strong relationships with the people you feel like connect and understand your heart and soul. And you need to go all in on that. You need to make sure that you have the right people with you, that you're super solid with them, that you know what you want, and you need to believe in yourself. And I think this new moon, and for the month of it, which it will last, you know, from new moon to new moon, it's going to be all about you saying, okay, I finally get it now. This is what I really want. This is what I really need. This is what I really believe, or this is what I need to believe in order to get on board with where I see and where I want my life to go, so that I can get excited about it and trying to work with people to move it all together, okay? So that's what I'll leave you with there before I go any further. Now, your card for this moon is the Four of Cups. Ooh, the Four of Cups upright. This is interesting. When I think of this card, the Four of Cups, to me it's normally something's being offered to you, normally a very good thing that has an emotional benefit to you, especially with this North Node in Cancer. It's going to make us all very emotional, very concerned about getting our emotional needs met here, and you don't want it. And so that's what's so interesting to me about this card, is saying there's something good that's coming to you. Maybe there's some of you right now that are worried, that are like, you know what? Like, this is another function of the nines. I don't know why I keep thinking of nines. There aren't even that many. I guess there's like a 29 Uranus, 29 Jupiter, 19 Pluto. The node's at 29 degrees. I don't know. I'm just getting the nines here, a shifting of the cycle. And I feel like there's some of you who are like, my life is never going to be what I want. There's a change coming, but it's never going to come. There's something good that's about to happen, but I don't really know. I'm afraid of it. I'm scared of it. Is it for me? Is it not for me? I don't want it. And I think I just want to reassure you all that there are good things in your life that are coming. There are good things that are about to manifest, that are about to happen, that are being offered to you, and they're being offered to you at this new moon. And maybe some of you can't even see it. Maybe some of you don't even know it. You know, it's like, there's so many beautiful things happening for you right before your eyes at this point in time to reset your life, to make it something different and better that you feel more emotionally connected to than anything in your life that you've ever had before. And I think there are some of you that are like, I don't see it. I don't believe it. This isn't going to come. This isn't going to happen. These kind of things don't happen. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. This is a major transformative new moon helping you to see all of the potential before you and to get rid of anything holding you back and to go all in on creating it. And I don't want you to miss the opportunity that is right around the corner, especially as all these planets, Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, the North Node in Cancer. I don't want you to miss the opportunity here. Uranus next year, March or so, I think, gonna move back to Taurus for good. Chiron gonna move back to Aries for good. You gotta realize old things in your life, the chapter's changing in your life in a huge way, where we're coming into new situations and phasing out old ones. This new moon, I think, is the major turning point. I think by next March or April, we're going to feel it. Life's going to be a different thing. It's going to be a different game than anything before. And I want to awaken you all and open your eyes to the fact that amazing things are happening right before your eyes. It may not feel like it. It may not look like it externally, but it's coming very soon. It's coming right around the corner, and I don't want you to give up, and I don't want you to miss it, and I don't want you to close your eyes. Don't blink. Don't blink, because it will be here very, very soon. And I know there's going to be a lot of good things coming for all of us, and I hope that there are. You know, there could be some of you too that have bad things happen at this moon. Unwanted things, unexpected things, and I'm like, even the unwanted and the unexpected things that can happen at this new moon are opportunities for you to turn your life around, to create the life you've always wanted, to go in the direction you've always needed to go in, and to create a life you feel more fulfilled in, and to not see any of that as a bad thing, to not see any of that as a holdup. Even the bad things, I think, at this new moon are meant to be transformed to ultimately get you on the right path that you need to go on, and to not doubt it, and to not fear, and to believe in yourself that you can manifest the life that you've always wanted and dreamed of, or at least a new life according to new dreams that are more meant for you at this time. So that is what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.